What is up, my blue collar scholars? So, we're talking coffee mugs today. There is a slew of different coffee mugs, and all for different purposes and different reasons. Some better than others. Not really going to go into that because a lot of it is personal preference. I know people are going to say metal or tin and aluminum are better or worse, but really what it has to do with is us and our mouth and how we perceive things, right? So I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm a camper. I like camping, and those aluminum metal campfire mugs, the ceramic coating with the little specks on them, they're nostalgic for me. I love them because they make me think of the little blue mugs with the big pot of crappy coffee that was boiled on the fire, poured into it, and so I love those mugs. It's a preference thing, right? And so much of it has to do with our emotional connections to things. So the first one I want to start off with is not my favorite. It's actually probably my least favorite, but it's a necessity based on the way that we drink coffee. The tumbler, right? This thing, usually metal, right? Through and through. This one is dual layered. So most of them are dual layered now because that's where the insulation is. You got your rubber, you got your lid. These things are always the case, right? So part of a good tumbler that you want to look for is the lid and how the lid mechanism works, because it'll trap liquid in different places. And so, like, the point of a tumbler is that you're on the go, right? You poured your coffee, you're rushing, you're running into your car, you're going to work, you're cramming coffee in there so that you can be semi-functional sitting in your beige cubicle, right? Not that I know anything about that. Really, it's not the best drinking experience though. So this thing is a utility beverage holder. This thing is made for traveling. It's not made for enjoying, right? So this is to keep your white shirt white instead of brown speckled, right? The reason why it's not good is because once you put it on there, you seal it. That's how it keeps it hot, is the seal. But when we're tasting, we taste like a little bit with our mouth and a whole bunch more with our nose, and then our eyes and everything else too. So when you have this lid on there and it's sealed tight, it's keeping it hot, but it's also keeping your nose from being blocking anything else there. So you're just getting the taste. So it's not gonna give you like a big full experience, but it is gonna keep your shirt safe. Okay, so a utility container, we all have them. You gotta have them, right? I get it. On to the second mug. This is your super traditional, run-of-the-mill 50 cents to $1 at Target or Walmart sitting there. I think these ones are left over from my wedding. I don't know. I've had it for 10 years. That's the kind of mug that this is. Now, these are usually ceramic. I like ceramic, so ceramic. One of the reasons why I like ceramic is because it actually pulls heat into it, so ceramic will absorb heat. And so if you have super hot coffee, you pour it in there, it will kind of absorb it, bring the temperature down of the beverage, but then also heat the mug, and then it kind of sends it back and forth. So you kind of create this equilibrium for a drink for a while. Big thing on there, the handle. Right, handle is key when you're drinking a mug because you don't want to strain. Like if it's got those little tiny holes and you're like trying to put all the pressure of it in it, you're like, oh, I gotta have my pinky up. Sucks, right? You gotta have a good mug on there. This one is actually not a bad handle for a cheap mug. So it's a 3-finger handle, and then it's got the flat spot for your thumb. This kind of evenly distributes your weight. Throw that pinky on the bottom so you don't sag. There's no pressure, there's no anything on there. This is actually a pretty easy drinking mug. It's got a fairly wide mouth, so like I was saying, right, you want to be able to smell when you're drinking, so it gets all the way up there over my nose, so that's good. You're sipping. I mean, this is a typical mug. There is nothing wrong with this mug. There's nothing exceptional about this mug, other than actually the handle is pretty decent. I've had some pretty crappy handles. Which brings me on to my next example, which is also ceramic, and sadly, it's my wife's favorite Rapunzel mug. Yes, this was purchased at Disneyland. It's her favorite. I get it. This one, the handle is very decorative. You know, Rapunzel with her braid and her flowers from the end of the movie, right? Love that part. This, I cannot get 3. It's a 2-finger handle. Not a bad thumb spot, actually. And then they put the little braid here. This is actually fairly well thought out. So it's 2 fingers, and you wedge that other finger right in there, and you got a pretty good hold. Luckily, this isn't a giant mug, so there's not gonna be a lot of weight to it. You know, if you were holding 20 ounces, this would not be comfortable for very long. But one thing I want to point out that I like about this mug, you can see right here, is the shape, right? So it's straight, but then it kind of curves out. And this is something that we learned from beer glasses, and something that I like about this a lot. So again, put it up here, goes well up over my nose so I can sniff it. But the thing is that there's like a little lip spot, so it's comfortable. It goes right to the lip. The beverage doesn't just like fall off. It kind of rolls off of this ledge. So the drink is much easier, especially when you have a hot beverage. This lip portion, and for me, I think is a big deal because it's kind of like when you have ice at the bottom of your cup and you're like, and it's all over your face. It's kind of like that, except it's incredibly hot and it melts your face off. So I like the angle so that you can just kind of pour it easily. You can breathe to cool it down. You can breathe it in, so you can breathe out through your mouth, breathe that in through your nose, so you're getting the smell. You're not gonna pour it down your face and melt your chin off. Pretty good cup design. Handle's not my favorite. This one is probably, sadly, my favorite mug. This is a 3-finger mug. Again, got that pinky under there, a little spot for the thumb. Not the most perfect handle, but a good handle. It has, you can see the lip curve on there. It's not quite as pronounced as the Rapunzel mug, but it's still there. And then one thing that I like is that it's clear. Don't get me wrong, I love my designed mugs. We get one at Disneyland every time we go, which is far too many times, right? So I love my designed mugs, but I like to see my coffee. And so like when I'm taking the time and really doing a pour over and I'm doing all of the steps and I'm like really invested, like I really like to pick that up and I like to see my coffee. I like to see the reddish brown color. I like to see how it brewed in and like how the light's coming through it. And that's a part of the experience, right? Is visual. So we use all senses when we're drinking a beverage, right? We're going to use touch on how hot it is, what we're listening to and how we're feeling at the moment, the sight, what we're seeing. Like this, the sight of this actually plays a big role because this nostalgia could bring up very happy memories from Disneyland, and that could make the experience much better. But when I'm really focused on my coffee, I like to see the light come through it. And I actually, like, I'm nerdy, right? I hold it up to the sun and I like to look through it. You're feeling it, you're breathing it in, and then you're taking your small sips, and that is a full experience. So it's comfortable in the hand, glass and ceramic. This one is glass, so this one actually transfers a lot more heat than ceramic does, so it's going to get hot faster and it's going to give off that heat faster. But overall, you know, like this is a pretty, it's a solid mug. I hate that I like it so much. So that's kind of it right there. So, you know, get your favorite mug, love it, enjoy it if it helps your experience with your coffee. Let the haters hate, forget those folks, man. Enjoy your Rapunzel mug or your tumbler. However you drink your coffee, you know, just make sure that you're enjoying it. But those are some tips that I hope will help you pick your mugs in the future and help the coffee experience be a little bit better. So I hope that helps. If it did, let me know. Hit me up in the comments, message me, post a picture of your favorite mug in the comments. That would be really cool to see everybody's mug. So with that, everybody, gonna say adieu.